Now we all know that Chelsea as a football club has witnessed many successful seasons, but I asked myself this question: what season can be categorized as the season where Chelsea were at their absolute best, aka prime Chelsea? Now for me personally, I've decided to choose the 2004-2005 season where Chelsea absolutely were indeed scary. In that very season, Chelsea cooked everyone. Well, almost everyone. But enough yapping, let's jump straight into the video. So before the season started, Chelsea obviously had the money. Roman Abramovich had recently bought the club and basically just gave Chelsea a cash injection that they had never seen before. Like, it was crazy. But even with all the cash injections, Chelsea had just finished second in the league behind Arsenal's Invisibles. But the very next season, Roman Abramovich does what he did best. He brought in the one and only José Mourinho, aka the special one. And you see, at that time, Mourinho was arguably the best manager in the world. After winning the UCL with Porto, his stocks were through the roof. Everybody wanted to sign him. But luckily for Chelsea, Don Roman brought him in and José Mourinho went to work. And you see, when José arrived, it wasn't just his charisma or anything like that. He brought a sense of clarity and gave every player in the Chelsea squad a particular role. He didn't give them room to improvise or think for themselves. He almost turned the team into like a magnificent functioning machine. And the thing is, by the end of the season, bro, Chelsea had become a total fortress. And you see, Mourinho's Chelsea didn't play that beautiful champagne football that many fans were used to seeing from teams like Barca and Arsenal and teams of that ilk. Now, when this guy came in, his tactics were dark, better, and had deadly precision. The main system that José Mourinho played, or formation, was the 4-3-3. And in the middle of the pitch, the midfield trio was basically a military unit, bro. You had Lampard. He was the kind of player who would arrive late in the box, crash the box, and just belt one in. And others like Claude Makelele. This guy was so good, bro. He basically invented a position for himself. Makelele was basically the Kante before Kante, bro. And at the very heart of the attack, the front lines, they had Didier Drogba, who was still young and raw. He was still learning his craft, but even at that age, he was absolutely terrifying, bro. And on the wings, they had Arjen Robben and Damien Duff. And let's not forget about the back as well. They had the likes of John Terry, Ricardo Carvalho, and Peter Cech forming the spine of that back line. And just these three players alone, Ricardo Carvalho, John Terry, and Peter Cech, it was almost like they generated some kind of force field on the goal line, bro. It was insane. Just almost nobody could score against them, bro. It was virtually impossible. Now that we've gone over the spine of the team, let's talk about the numbers a little bit. In the Premier League alone, they had 25 clean sheets, bro. Imagine, 25 clean sheets. They had 29 wins, 95 points, and 1 loss, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they lost to Man City. And in my humble opinion, right, I know some Arsenal fans might not like this, but in my opinion, this performance by Chelsea in 04-05 is more impressive than the Invincibles, bro. I said it. Yeah, you can argue with me down in the comments below. Let me know if you agree or disagree, but that's my opinion. Moving on, and like I said before, Mourinho's style was very rigid, very strict, and it brought a lot of criticism from many pundits and fans alike, saying, you know, boring Chelsea. All they do is sit back and park the bus. Oh, Chelsea are ruining the game. They play boring football. They play ugly football. And I'm like, me personally as a football fan, I don't really care how my team wins, bro. At the end of the day, all people are gonna care about is which team won. Because listen, bro, at the end of every competition or every final, what question do people usually ask? Do they ask who won, or do they ask who played well? And I guess you all know the obvious answer. So for me personally, I really couldn't care less how my team wins, bro. As long as at the end of the game, we are leading in the most important statistic in every football match, which is the score sheet. That is the only stat that matters to me, bro. I know nowadays there are some weirdos on the internet who are obsessed about XG and all that waffle. Me, I only care about the scoreline. That's it. But now I want to move on to the players who were pivotal for Chelsea in that particular season. And first up, we have Frank Lampard, the guy who just kept everything ticking in the midfield. by scoring goals, providing assists. As a matter of fact, in that very season, he scored 19 goals across all competitions and provided 18 assists, which is baffling to me because this guy was a midfielder, bro. How is a midfielder pulling off these kinds of numbers, bro? Especially in the goal category. It was insane. And obviously, the GOAT goalkeeper himself, Peter Cech, had this record where he went 1,025 minutes. Listen carefully, 1,025 minutes without conceding a goal, bro. And for those of you who are not good at maths, that is 17 hours of football without conceding a goal. Listen, bro, you can't tell me Peter Cech is not like easily top 5 best goalkeepers of all time, bro. I'm not gonna listen, but you can argue down below. And that wasn't even his only record. In that specific season, the 04-05 season, he also kept 24 clean sheets in the Premier League. And now let's move on to Captain Fantastic himself, also one of the best defenders in Premier League history, John Terry. Now, I'm not even gonna talk too much about John Terry because if you're a football fan, you should already know this guy's quality. So I'm just gonna jump straight to his stats. So in the 04-05 season, he played 36 out of 38 league games for Chelsea, where he conceded just 15 goals, which is still a Premier League record, by the way. It's never been broken up until now, and I don't think it will ever be broken or even equaled. I know a couple of seasons ago, Arsenal fans, with their rinky-dink defense thought they could equalize that record. And to be fair, this current Arsenal team has a good defense, but compared to that Chelsea team, they are nothing. And Didier Drogba, who arrived at the club in 2004, had a lot of potential, and he showed glimpses of this potential by scoring 16 goals in all competitions, which for the kind of player he became was low numbers. But even in his first season, he still showed quality by scoring in the League Cup final for Chelsea. And then of course we have Claude Makélélé. Unfortunately, I couldn't find his tackling and interception stats, but if I do, I'll put it in the video. But I'm just gonna say this guy was absolutely priceless, bro. Like, if you are a new football fan now and you love Kante, you would have loved this guy 10 times more because his consistency and his ability to break up attacks and intercept passes and start counter-attacks, it was just beautiful to see, bro. Absolutely wonderful. And it's no wonder he got a whole position named after him. And even with all these brilliant performances from the Chelsea team and the players, unfortunately in Europe, they couldn't go far in the Champions League as they were knocked out in the semi-final by Liverpool by 1-0 on aggregate. But it was really in the league that Chelsea truly shined. And at the very end of that fantastic year, Chelsea lifted their first Premier League title in 50 years. And most of the players in that very team went on to do so many fantastic things that I'm pretty sure most of you know them for today. And I'll just end by saying that Chelsea team is, in my opinion, top 2 best Premier League sides of all time. And I think they are better than the Invincibles. But you can argue with me down in the comments below. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched up to this point, shout out to you. I was really meaning to make this video. And I'm glad you've enjoyed it, because if you've watched up to this far, then you clearly enjoyed the video. So do me a favor, like, subscribe. Do let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.